PBS has pulled one of their documentaries off the shelves for airing because it involves the Koch brothers, and PBS has recently taken an enormous amount of funds from the Koch brothers and thus has lost their will to show the Koch documentary, which reveals many of the unethical practices of the Koch brothers over the years. Now, there is more than one documentary about the Koch brothers out there. The one that was set to be aired on PBS that will no longer be aired is called Citizen Koch, and as far as I know, it's not yet available right now. But there is a documentary that you can watch for free online called Koch Brothers Exposed, and it was made last year, and it's a very good, well-made documentary outlining the Koch brothers, not only their history, but the history of their practices. And I encourage everyone to watch this documentary. It has a lot of important information. Some of the information that I've highlighted from this documentary includes the beginnings of the Koch brothers, which started in the 1930s when Fred Koch, the Koch brothers' father, started in the Soviet Union in the oil industry and came to America after the Second World War. He came to America and started a major oil company in America. Now, I didn't realize this, but Fred Koch, the founder of Koch Industries, funded seriously violent racist and pro-segregation groups during the Civil Rights era. And this is the environment that the Koch brothers were raised in. And since then, the Koch brothers have been responsible for a series of immoral and unethical practices in their businesses. They have business investments in oil, lumber, chemicals, plastics. They have a stranglehold on the economy of this country, and they have been responsible for over 300 oil spills in this country in the last couple of decades. They are one of the top 10 polluters in the country. They are responsible for funding many of the deregulatory policies that have been imposed on things like the EPA and the Food and Drug Administration. And they have basically used their profits, part of their profits, massive profits, to deregulate and defund and deconstruct the government so that they have as much power as they possibly can over the state of American economics. They are responsible for funding and promoting the Keystone Pipeline. They have investments in they have investments in taking away voting rights by imposing voter ID laws. They have manipulation over the university systems because by donating, not just donating, but funding universities all across America in exchange for a voice in what professors these universities hire and what they're allowed to teach. They have destroyed the public school system in funding their different policies to dismantle and resegregate the school system so that the poorest children are always doomed to be in the poorest schools. And they are also responsible for many political campaign funds. They have basically bought our American politicians. They make sure to fund their re-elections, and they make sure to put plenty of lobbying money into our government so that they can pass the policies that they need in order to grow their business, in order to grow their profits. And they are part of the 1% that is currently holding down this country economically. So that is what is included in these documentaries. That is what the Koch brothers don't want you to see, and that is what PBS is unwilling to show you, because now they too, the public broadcasting station, is also now controlled by the Koch brothers, partially because they have been stripped of their own public funding. So now they have to rely on private industries and private corporations to fund their broadcasting station. So that's basically it. The Koch brothers own this country. They have a stranglehold on us. And they are responsible for many of the conservative, anti-progressive movements that are taking place in this country at this very moment.